I start the petition in the first place turned out to be a great idea. And Zack Malitz, who posted an identical petition on Credo, and now we have almost 19,000 signatures. Woo! And I want to thank Brendan, who's an intern for Food and Water Watch. He's a rising junior at University of Chicago and very prominent in the divestment movement. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take the young people to bring this movement forward. Woo!
Get his information.
And this is my son James, who I'm doing this for.
Woo!
Woo! Did anyone read the front page of the LA Times yesterday? The headline read, "Effects of climate change in California are significant and growing." That's one of the reasons I started this petition to Fran Pavley to withdraw her fracking regulatory bill and fight for a ban instead.
Yes!
Yeah. Woo! Woo! I am the mother of 2 teenage boys, and quite frankly, I'm scared about the quality of their future. And I wonder whether there will even be a future for any grandchildren that they might provide me. Among all the other scourges that we've read about fracking, which others will address today, burning the 15 billion barrels of oil under the Monterey Shale will increase greenhouse gas emissions to the tune of 6.4 billion metric tons. This will prevent California from reaching the carbon emissions goals set forth in Senator Pavley's landmark Global Warming Solutions Act.
Yes!
Senator Pavley is an environmental hero in this state for what she has already accomplished. I was a constituent who even donated money to her campaign. I am a huge fan of Fran Pavley, but this is not about Fran Pavley. In an effort to get something passed by the legislature, she had to compromise too much.
Yes!
This bill does not regulate fracking, it sets up a regulatory framework. It orders a study of fracking, has provisions for permitting, groundwater monitoring, notification, and disclosure of the chemicals.
Boo! Yes, for the chemicals, no fracking.
We don't need any more studies to show us that fracking is harmful, do we?
No!
There are plenty of studies, plus all we have to do is open our eyes and look around the entire country where this horrible practice is happening.
Common sense.
As for notification and disclosure, telling someone when you're going to frack, where you're going to frack, and what chemicals you're going to use is like a murderer saying, I'm going to shoot you on your front porch tomorrow at noon, and I'm going to use an AK-47.
Yeah, what the frack is that?
At the end of the day, you're still dead. There's nothing in this bill that says things like you can't frack within 1,500 feet of a school, or that the well casings have to be 100% cemented, or that toxic fracking wastewater is not to be dumped in unlined ponds. These things are left for other agencies to do in the future. But who is to say they will have the political will to do so? Governor Brown already fired the head of the Department of Conservation and Dogger because they were actually trying to slow down and do the environmental impact studies before issuing the permits. He didn't think they were issuing these permits fast enough. And he was hailed by the Western States Petroleum Association, which in the first 6 months of this year spent $2.6 million lobbying in Sacramento.
Ooh.
That's the largest amount spent by any other industry. Just came out yesterday that the governor and the leader of the state assembly are already trying to water down this already weakened bill. Some people think that even a weak bill is better than no bill, and we should support this even as we continue to fight for a ban.
No!
I am with you. If this bill passes, legislators and the governor will be able to say, we have dealt with fracking with the strongest regulations in the nation. We don't need no moratorium.
We need a better bill.
Liars!
Some of the 18 Democratic Assembly members who abstained from voting on a moratorium bill earlier this year, which we worked so hard to get through, already said as much. When questioned as to why they did not vote yes, because if they did, the bill would have passed, they said they were planning to vote for Fran Pavley's bill instead.
No!
Even Senator Pavley said when I spoke to her earlier this week that both moratoriums failed and that the governor wouldn't sign a moratorium. So my response was, before the civil rights activists started agitating and before courageous legislators started writing bills, LBJ probably would have said he wouldn't have signed the Voting Rights Act either.
Yeah.
It's up to us on this street and others to make Jerry Brown ground sign a ban on fracking.
Here we are.
Activists and members of the 100 organizations in the coalition Californians Against Fracking plan to do just that. We will dog him wherever he goes, just like the New York activists did in New York, and that's how they got their moratorium extended. We will occupy his office.
Yes.
We will conduct civil disobedience if we have to. Someone supporting this bill quoted Otto von Bismarck to me the other day. In 1867, he said, "Politics is the art of the possible." Well, I would prefer to be guided by another statesman, 100 years later, who said, "There are those who look at things as they are and ask why.
Woo!
I dream of things that never were and ask why not."
Woo!
That person was Robert Kennedy. It is my dream that in my lifetime we wake up and realize that we cannot continue to extract every last drop of fossil fuel out of the planet in increasingly dirty and unsafe ways. As one of the last people to sign this petition this morning wrote in a comment, "If the terrorists came in and poisoned your water like this, you'd be screaming. Why would you allow a fossil fuel company to do it?"
Yes, that's right. Yes.
I and the other 19,000 people, who include all of you guys here on the street who signed this petition, urge Fran Pavley to stop drafting, throw away the red pencil, and start using the bully pulpit in a way that only an environmental leader like she can. Senator Pavley, withdraw your bill and lead our fight to ban fracking now.
Woohoo!
Fracking now!
Ban fracking now.
Ban fracking now!
Ban fracking now.
And now,
Withdraw your bill. Withdraw your bill.
and now, I'd like to introduce Brenna Norton, who's the Los Angeles organizer for Food and Water Watch, who really did the lion's share of the work of organizing the activists to get the moratorium bills that did go down in flames even introduced this year. Brenna?
Thank you, Lauren, and thank you everyone coming out today. Thank you, Credo. Thank you, Move On. Thank you, everyone that's here that made this possible. I'm saving paper. I'm not just reading my phone while I'm talking today. A Pennsylvania resident recently told me, with tears streaming down his face, my home, he said, it used to be heaven on earth. Now it is hell on earth.
Yeah!
As a resident of Pennsylvania, he lives in ground zero of the hydraulic fracturing, better known as fracking crisis in our country.
Excuse me.
Craig, a resident here in Los Angeles, living next to the largest urban oil field in the country. He told me recently that when he was walking on his street to do a health survey,
Can I use
that
your
almost
sign?
every neighbor had a new cancer to
Can I
report.
use it for a second?
Sometimes two in the same family, whether it be the wife or the husband or the dog or the cat. I also had a mother told me that she has to wake her kid up from nosebleeds so the kid doesn't die in her sleep. This is happening here in the middle of LA right now. This is real. This weekend, on a belated birthday present, I went onto the Channel Islands whale watching and saw the 10 to 15 oil rigs where they're currently fracking offshore. Because Los Angeles and California, fracking has not only come to you, it has come to you with a vengeance. And you ain't seen nothing yet, as Lauren was telling you. My name is Brenna. I'm the Southern California organizer for Food and Water Watch. And today, with many of the people here, we launched the campaign to ban fracking last year in California. It's been a fast-paced year. We got 2 bills introduced in the state legislature. Unfortunately, going up against this much money and power, we didn't expect in a couple months to move mountains. But a year ago, we were laughed at. No one said we could get those bills introduced. And why did we? Why did we?
Because of us!
Because of us! Because of people power!
Woo!
We delivered over 150,000 petitions to Governor Brown and growing.
Yes.
Pavley has been an environmental hero in this state. But she's wrong on this issue. There's no first step. There's no compromise. There is no winning at doing what it seems politically possible. This bill, I repeat, this bill will do nothing to protect people that are currently gravely affected by fracking just a few miles from us here. We have enough peer-reviewed science. We have the proof. Senator Fran Pavley, we have the proof. California does not need more guinea pigs. We don't need horror stories and studies to tell us what we already know. And it's possible, Fran Pavley, it's possible with us behind you. So we're calling on you, Senator Fran Pavley, to join us, to call on Brown to issue an executive moratorium today. Thank you for coming out. Ban fracking now! Ban fracking now! Ban fracking now!
Hey guys, now we have Marcia Hanscom, who's the president of the Ballona Wetlands Institute, who's going to read a statement that was drafted by the San Diego 350.org. And they could not make it here today, nor could the San Francisco, the Bay Area 350.org, also opposed to this group. And we have a statement from Fresno's Against Fracking, which we will be leaving with the senator's staff. But Marcia is an environmental hero herself. She's been working to save the Ballona wetlands for the last 18 years. Marcia?
I want to say, too, that after I read this statement from San Diego 350.org this morning, Ballona Institute and the Wetlands Defense Fund have also signed on in agreement to this statement. San Diego 350.org respects and greatly appreciates Senator Fran Pavley's stewardship of the environment. She has long been a supporter of ensuring that all Californians can benefit from cleaner air and water, live healthier lives, and enjoy all the advantages of our beautiful state. She was recognized by President Obama for helping create a clean, safe, secure energy future for California and the United States. We know her heart and mind are in the right place in this regard. But fracking is indeed a scourge upon this golden state. SB 4, Senator Pavley's own bill, is an attempt to take an extreme extraction method and make it safer and more transparent somehow through various regulations. San Diego 350.org understands that this practice is fraught with risk and has yet to be proven safe. In fact, evidence suggests quite the contrary, with instances from across the country showcasing its dangers, from methane leakage into the air, to contamination from flowback water, to consumption of huge amounts of fresh water that rightfully belongs to the people, to exacerbating ground-level ozone pollution, to induced seismic risk. Do we need that here in California? And more.
No.
Those in attendance here, as well as members of our various organizations, are well in tune with these dangers, and we know that there are many more too long to list here. But this conversation about the risks is actually misguided. It doesn't matter if studies could be done to collect more scientific data of what in fact the practice entails. It does matter if we have a host of regulations that are strongly backed by proper budgets and adequate staff resources to effectively monitor adherence to regulations. It doesn't matter if violators of these regulations are quickly caught and punished to the full extent of the law. None of this matters. What matters is that this dirty shale oil stays in the ground. What matters is the math. What matters is the climate. And if we allow anything at all that promotes the removal of these dirtiest of fossil fuels, then we are abdicating our duty as parents, as grandparents, to protect our climate for future generations. Senator Pavley understood this responsibility and acted to shepherd AB 32 through the legislative process. And by doing so, she made California the environmental leader in the country. So we ask, when looking at the math, how can we now support and adopt a bill that greenlights a practice that extracts a highly carbon-intensive oil that even CARB scored as high as 28.82, depending on the location, while the Alberta tar sands oil scores 24.49 at its worst. And we're all against that, right? Yeah. Woo! So how can we spend millions of taxpayer taxpayer dollars setting up a complex cap-and-trade mechanism to ensure California reduces greenhouse gas emissions, yet allow the extraction of a substance that will undo 80 years of AB 32 progress? How can California maintain its environmental leadership yet turn a blind eye to the overall impact of allowing fracking to unleash this scourge into our atmosphere? The conversation must be about overall impact to climate change. A study released just last week pinpoints how climate change isn't just impacting California in the future, it shows how climate change is impacting us now. This is not about a far distant future that we can trust, more like hope that others will come along with the right innovations and solve the problem. The problem is here now, and we are responsible for not only creating it, but also for doing everything in our power to fix it and ensure it does not get worse. Senator Pavley knew this when she pursued AB 32, and she knows this now. Politicians don't create political will, they respond to it. It is our civic duty as citizens to create that political will, and that is why today, SanDiego350.org, its hundreds of members, Wetlands Defense Fund, Ballona Institute, and others call upon Senator Pavley to do the right thing. Stand up for the principles that you embraced all along, and withdraw your bill, replace it with the only thing that makes sense. A total ban on fracking, acidization, and any other extreme method that will only serve to exacerbate climate change. Thank you.
Ban fracking now!
Ban fracking now!
Ban fracking now!
Ban fracking now!
Ban fracking now! Okay. Ban fracking now! Next we have Zack, who just moved out from Ithaca, New York. He is the fracking organizer for Credo Action. He was very helpful in making sure that moratorium I told you about earlier that was extended got extended. And he has just been relocated out here to California to help us do the same thing. Zack Malitz.
Thank you, Lauren, and thank you all of you for being here. My name is Zack Malitz. I'm a campaign manager for Credo Action. Credo has more than 500,000 members here in California, and through their dedicated activism, they have sent a clear message to Governor Brown and to the legislature. Ban fracking now. Senator Pavley has been a long-time environmental champion for California, but her fracking bill falls far short of the standard of uncompromising advocacy that she has set. Senator Pavley's bill will not stop fracking from expanding in California. It will not stop the fracking industry from contaminating vast quantities of our water with toxic chemicals. It will not stop the fracking industry from dumping its contaminated wastewater into earthquake-causing injection wells. Senator Pavley's bill will not protect our communities from the fracking industry's cancer-causing air pollution.
Right.
And Senator Pavley's bill will not stop fracking from accelerating climate change and putting our communities at greater risk of extreme storms, floods, droughts, and wildfires.
Right.
And earthquakes. We're here delivering petitions signed by 18,000, almost 19,000 Credo and Move On members, calling on Senator Pavley to withdraw her bill and join the growing movement to ban fracking, because we know that her voice can make a difference. So far, Governor Brown has refused to put a ban on fracking, so we need help from environmental champions like Senator Pavley to pressure him to do so. But we cannot put pressure on Governor Brown to ban fracking while we're simultaneously endorsing half measures like SB 4, which will only provide political cover to the fracking industry as it tries to convince Californians that fracking can be safe.
Down with Senate Bill 4.
That's right. We will continue to fight for the only thing that will really protect Californians from fracking. An outright ban on this water-contaminating, planet-warming, toxic practice, and we hope that Senator Pavley will join us.
So with that, I would like to everyone to invite whoever wants to come to walk over to Senator Pavley's office and deliver these petitions, which I have printed on a CD so that we didn't waste paper.
Yay.
And the next step in this movement is we are going to all call members of the Appropriations Committee and tell them to vote no on this bill. And if it passes out of that committee, we're going to call members of the Assembly and tell them to vote no on this bill. And all at the same time, we're going to be pressuring Jerry Brown. We're going to be trying to get local bans and moratoria in the localities where we live. And we're going to keep up this fight. Who is with me? Yeah! All right, let's go.
Hey, Fran, take a stand.
Don't regulate, we need a ban.
Hey, Fran, take a stand.
Don't regulate, we need a ban.
So, who is going to accept the petitions?
I'm Kara. I'm Senator Pavley's district director.
Hi, Kara. I'm Lauren Steiner. I have here 18,940 signatures from Move On and Credo members asking Fran Pavley to withdraw her fracking bill and fight for a ban instead. I'm sure you have a statement to read in response.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming out today. This is the statement from Senator Pavley. It is encouraging to see citizens engage in state government, particularly on such an important issue. I share the goal of protecting public health and safety and the environment, and as a legislator, I believe my best chance at achieving this goal is through comprehensive regulations. Oil companies are already fracking and acidizing wells in California, and unless we put strict rules in place, they will continue to do so without proper oversight and accountability.
If Fran Pavley could have her dream, would she want a moratorium on fracking in California right now?
Right now, this is the political option that's available to us right now. So
No.
That's not my question.
You're not going to get an answer.
Could you repeat the answer, just in case?
this is the bill that Senator Pavley is choosing to move forward with this legislative session.
To frack California. We don't accept that. I'm sorry.
I appreciate it, and I will pass your comments along to Senator
Okay,
Pavley.
thank you.
Does she, what she just asked though, if she had her choice, would she stop the fracking altogether?
Again, this is the legislation that Senator Pavley's put forward this
She does have a choice. She's our legislative check. She's the head of the water committee, and she's poisoning our water.
I appreciate your comments.
I did say in my remarks that this is not about Fran, this is about her bill, and Cara's answer speaks to what your question is, I think.
Well, there's a person behind every bill, and in this case, the person is Fran Pavley.
Ban fracking now!
Ban fracking now! Ban fracking now! Ban fracking now! Ban fracking now!
Hey, Fran, take a stand.
Don't regulate, we need a ban!
Hey, Fran, take a stand.
Don't regulate, we need a ban!
Hey, Fran, take a stand.
Don't regulate!